Hello, everybody. I am back. It is Brett. I'm here with another video. It's been a while. I haven't been around for a while because, frankly, I've been busy and the views haven't been that insanely good. So I figure I'll just do it at my own pace if the demand isn't soaring. But something happened this week that I thought I want to talk about this. This is really cool. Um, I went to a flea market and I came across a bunch of magazines, a bunch of old vintage rock magazines and from some videos, sorry, some magazines that I used to have back in the early 90s that unfortunately got lost in a flooded basement. And I was able to track these down again at this flea market, and so I snagged them all. This is a Canadian magazine, Canadian uh, metal magazine called M.E.A.T magazine. Metal Events Around Toronto is what it stood for, I believe. But this came, I think it was national, but we got it here in Ottawa. Oh, by the way, my name is Brett. I'm the singer for a glam metal band called Gelatin Skeleton out here in Ottawa, Canada. And I normally talk about audio cassettes and stuff like that, but today I just wanted to talk about something a little bit different because I found this M.E.A.T magazine from 1991, and I wanted to talk about the Canadian perspective on the hair metal, the death of hair metal back in, or as we didn't call it that then, but we call it that now, I guess. Um, the death of it from a Canadian point of view. So I thought this magazine, this particular issue, I bought a stack of them, but this particular issue kind of summed up for me a lot of kind of what was going on at the time. So in 1991, things were looking really good in the glam metal, hair metal kind of scene. And as you can see from this issue right here, I mean, you got Kicks, XYZ, Tesla, um, and a whole bunch of stuff. The new Metallica album had just come out. User Illusion 1 and 2 was just about to come out. So, like, things were still looking really good for the hard rock scene. But from the Canadian point of view, it seemed like in 1991 that Toronto was kind of shaping up to maybe be the next LA. I know that seems kind of funny given the benefit of hindsight, but let me just show you a couple of things in this magazine to show you. Now, I was in a band at the time, and we weren't going anywhere. We'd never really got off our asses to write originals, but we were hopeful that maybe if we made our way to Toronto or something like that, that things might start to happen. However, we never did. But um, but let me just give you an example of what was going on at the time. So we had Rock and Roll Heaven, which was a cool nightclub in Toronto. But there was a lot of bands coming out of Canada that were really happening at the time. Now, this magazine was really cool because it had a Canadian uh, beat, the Canadian beat, and then it had the international beat. So a couple of things that were happening at the time. Harem Scarum's first album was just coming out, and that's a great album. I have it. It's really kick ass. So that came out in 1991, and then on top of that, we also had some cool stuff like, let's see if I can show you the articles. The Age of Electric with Todd Kearns, who many of you know. They were coming out of Edmonton, I believe, Western Canada at least. Um, but yeah, even here in this ad, you can see you got Brighton Rock and Harem Scarum being advertised. Um, what else? This two-page spread right there. Big House and Harem Scarum were both just about to break. So things were pretty good. I mean, at the time, these albums were just coming out, but they sold pretty well. Um, I think Big House might have gone gold at the time in Canada, that is. What else? Just this month alone. I mean, you can see Helix has a home video coming out. We got Aldo Nova, Blood on the Bricks album. Um, so things were kind of happening. And they also had demos for like up and coming bands that were kind of in the same way. In the up and coming section is Love Chain, who was a Canadian band that ended up getting signed to M.C.A. Um, so we were kind of hopeful. Things were looking good. I mean, and if you look here, it's like Toxic. You got Harem Scarum. Now here's where things start to change. So you got Harem Scarum playing the Opera House, which is in Toronto. Harem Scarum playing there on the 19th of September. And on the 21st, you have Slick Toxic playing. But look who's right in between. Nirvana. Nirvana playing the Opera House. Could you imagine? Um, But we were all still pretty hopeful, like, and even here, Metal on the Rise, Nirvana. There's an article on them, and they're just brand new talking to this magazine. But at the time, with stuff like Slick Toxic, Big House, Harem Scarum, I Mother Earth was just signed around that time. I don't know if they made it down to the States or whatever, but they were coming out, and so it seemed like, wow, Toronto's really happening. And and then all of a sudden, uh, Nirvana hit, and the grunge thing started happening. And the same month that Nirvana played the Opera House, Mudhoney came up as well. And I think they just announced that Alice in Chains was opening some of the hair metal tours that was kind of coming around, and everything still seemed good, but there was that bubbling up thing. But it did seem for a short period of time, maybe a matter of a year or less, it seemed like Toronto might be a potential for the next LA. Now, looking back at these magazines, Drew Masters was the publisher of these. This came out for a few years, and I bought it, or I bought it. It was free, but I got it voraciously. I considered it to be kind of like the Canadian Metal Edge, although in retrospect it really wasn't. Other than it gave us news on up and coming bands, and you could buy their demos and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, so I just thought this was an interesting little thing to look back on, and as I'm reading it, I can go, man, I could just imagine my hopeful, 18-year-old self or whatever, thinking, wow, things are really happening up here in Canada. So there was hope for us yet. At any rate, obviously that proved not to be the case. But it's an interesting thing in the new world today. Um, what's funny though is there's not a lot, still not a lot of glam or hair metal or whatever you want to call it up here in Canada. There's my band Gelatin Skeleton, and not much else really. There's one or two other bands I think in Canada that are doing it, but our the audience is all in Europe and places like that. So I wish that the international audience for it spread a little bit more, but we still have we have our memories. We have our 1991 M.E.A.T magazine to look back on. So anyway, I'd be interested to hear if you have heard any of these Canadian bands that seem to have a lot of potential back in the day. If you have any of their albums, if you like them, what your thoughts are on them, and yeah, leave your comments below, and I look forward to hearing from you. I'll try not to have as much of a delay between this and my next video, but we'll see. Hopefully, if people start watching, then I'll pick up the frequency of it a little bit. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, and keep rocking, and we'll see you on the flip side. All right.